You're listening to the Real Longevity Podcast, your number one podcast resource for living a longer life. Here we discuss topics on personal fitness, longevity, and real lasting elevation of mind, body, and spirit. Join us as we build a community of healthy men and women enjoying lasting levels of real health and vitality. If you're currently feeling frustrated with pain, flat, or fed up with aging faster than you actually are, you're invited to join us each and every week here on the Real Longevity Podcast. Welcome to the Real Longevity family and get ready to live a life you truly love. Welcome back to the Real Longevity Podcast, the show that challenges everything you think about when it comes to you getting fit, living a great life, and living full and vitalized after 45. I'm your host, Mike Hendricks, holistic fitness and wellbeing practitioner, and I'm genuinely grateful that you're back with us here for another episode. Hope you are well wherever you are, and I really appreciate you tuning in again. What is going to be another insightful and uplifting episode on today's podcast. Now we're going to flip one of the biggest myths when it comes to fitness. If you've ever been found in a position where you're dragging yourself to the gym, you're pushing through that tough workout, and then you felt absolutely knackered, you felt wiped out for the rest of the day or even the rest of the week, then this episode is going to be something that I believe is going to really help you and finally switch on the lights and get you out of the dark. So I want you to think about those weeks, those times where you found yourself training hard, you're working out, but you felt yourself absolutely exhausted, and you've wondered why that might be. Why do you feel so tired? So today's episode is called Escape the Exhaustion. Why exercise is making you tired and what to do instead. Escape the exhaustion. Why exercise is making you more tired and what to do instead. Now I can already hear some of you saying, but Mike, isn't exercise supposed to give me more energy? And the hard fact is yes. When doing it right, absolutely that is correct. But here's the problem. Most people follow the advice out there and it's designed for people in their teens, in their 20s. And it's not built for people like yourself who are built with different hormones, they've got different levels of recovery, and frankly, they're at different stages of their life than you currently are. And when you're over 45, applying that same advice doesn't just fail, it can actually work against you. So stay with me today because we're going to get into exactly why this happens and more importantly, what you can actually do about it. I'm going to give you 3 practical steps so you can actually move through if you find yourself in this situation. Now, why is it that current exercise and conventional ways of exercise drains people, especially for those of us over the age of 45, 50s and older? So let me kind of paint a picture for you here and hopefully you can kind of piece this together. So you've come to a point now, you've decided enough is enough. You want more energy, you want to feel stronger, you maybe lose a little bit of weight. So you do what the conventional advice and the industry tells you to do. You join a gym, you start going to the classes, you start working hard. You might even start taking up running again or doing the things that you were doing when you were younger in your 30s or 20s. The typical mode is to go hard. You know, you push through the pain, you push through the soreness, and you tell yourself, no pain, no gain. Yeah, you know, sweat is just fat leaving the body, something along those lines. And then you get into it 3 weeks and you find yourself, you're tired, your joints are aching, your sleep is disrupted. And let's be honest, in most cases, when you've applied this method, you feel worse than you did before you actually started. And that little voice in the head is saying to you, oh, maybe this isn't for me anymore. Maybe this isn't a good idea after all. Now, I'm sure some of you are listening to this are currently nodding your head. But here's what is exactly is happening. And I want you to explain this so you understand if you can relate to what I'm saying. After you get to a certain age, typically around 45, 50, your relationship with stress, including stress of exercise, it changes fundamentally. Your ability to regulate cortisol shifts And cortisol, if you don't know, is a primary stress hormone. And when you're doing high intensity exercises, your cortisol spikes, goes through the roof. In a younger body, that can recover much more quickly, much more rapidly. But in a body over the age of 45, particularly one that is already dealing with stresses of life, then you might be able to relate to these family life stresses, work pressure, broken sleep, financial stresses that you may be having. This helps to keep that cortisol elevated. And chronically elevated cortisol is the enemy of your energy. It zaps your energy. It disrupts your sleeps. It breaks down muscle rather than building it up. I hope I'm painting a picture here. It can even affect things like your hormone levels, your thyroid function, making you crave things such as sugar. And worst of all, it can even help to store fat around your midsection, which for most of us is exactly the opposite of what we want. So you can see it's not the ideal when we've got those elevated levels of cortisol. And another piece of the picture that nobody really talks about is that when you're over-exercising without adequate recovery, without adequate rest, it suppresses your immune system, and it not only leaves you feeling tired, you're more likely, more exposed to pick up those bugs around you. So you can see it's not great, but we're overtraining and we're not doing it right. Now, I'm not here to tell you to stop moving or stop exercising. You've heard me say before, movement is medicine. It's one of the 4 pillars that we talk about in the Real Rejuvenation Program. I'll speak about that in a little bit more detail later on. But there's a world of difference between movement that restores you, re-energizes you, replenishes you, and movement that depletes you. And that's often what people are doing. They're doing exercise that depletes their energy. Most people over age 45 are doing that depleting kind of energy, the exercise that is catabolic in effect. It actually takes energy away from them. Why? Well, the reality is that most people have not been taught anything different. They've been told to go hard or go home. So let me give you another layer to this. Many of the people that I work with, they've come to me being in that state where they've been tired, exhausted, and not sure what to do, but they've been doing 4 or 5 days of hard exercise. They come to me and say, Mike, I've been doing classic, I've been doing body pump, I've been doing step, I've been out on the bike, I've been doing spin. And they wonder why they're feeling terrible all the time. And the reality is they're not looking at integrative practice. They're just going hard and going home. Again, which they've been told to do. They're pouring energy into intense, hard exercise, when the reality is they're not doing any sort of restorative or regenerative exercise, which is key. You think of it like driving your car without the warning light of the fuel gauge ever being on, and you're wondering why you're not getting anywhere. The car keeps breaking down. If you think about the fitness industry, and I love the fitness industry, but it has many, many flaws. One of the things it profits from is getting people to do more intense exercise. It's all about more, more classes, more equipment, more supplements to keep you going. But real sustainability and comes from being vital, being energized, especially after the age of 45, because we're at a different stage of our life. We have to approach things differently. It comes from working with your body rather than hammering it into submission. And if you feel that you're doing that, that's not the way to go. So think about that in terms of why conventional exercise is often setting us up for failure. Secondly, what we need to think about is a principle that you've heard me talk about many times before in the Real Rejuvenation Program, and it's what I call active mind and active body daily. You want to be able to be active on a regular basis, both mentally and physically. So when I'm talking about active mind, active body, it doesn't mean grinding through what we just talked about, those 45-minute high-intensity interval classes or doing a full-on 45-minute spin class most of the time. It does not mean like clocking up miles and miles and miles doing road running or on the treadmill if you're in the gym. It means doing something a little bit more, shall we say, intelligent, something a little bit more or a lot more sustainable. And if we're being honest, it's something that's going to be way more enjoyable as well. Active mind and active body means keeping both parts of you in motion in a way that energizes you. You heard me say that before. It's reinvigorating your body, re-energizing your body, rejuvenating the program, hence the name, the real rejuvenation, rather than depleting and depriving. So on the body side, we're talking about consistent, moderate, varied movement. You've heard me say before, walking is one of the most underrated forms of exercise on the planet. If you were to go out for your 20 to 30 minute brisk walk in natural light most days of the week, ideally in the morning, it does wonders to help balance your cortisol levels, get your mental state well, get your joint health well, get your metabolic function working well. And that's without saying foot in the gym, Strength training is another thing that you've heard me say is very important, done with intelligence and not ego. And I've fallen into that trap where it's all about chasing numbers and lifting heavy weights all the time. So if you're doing it intelligently and not with your ego, it's essential, especially after the age of 40, 45, 50 and older. And it's helping to build the muscle, help to maintain and create bone density. It helps to boost your metabolism. And it should, when done correctly, leave you feeling better, feeling more energized and not destroyed or distraught. You've heard me talking about mobility work as well, the importance of doing things such as gentle or restorative or regenerative exercise, such as Pilates, reformer Pilates, yoga. These keep the body fluid, balanced, help to reduce pain, and it signals to your central nervous system it's time to switch off, relax, chill. These are all very important things that we need to consider when it comes to moving our body. When it comes to the active mind side, most fitness programs typically ignore, let's be honest, they just focus on the physical movement side of things, but we're talking about active mind as well. And it's talking about keeping your mind active, whether that's learning something new, engaging something creative, something that involves maybe social connections or some mindful practices that you can do. I like to journal, write things down. My daughter has got me into colouring in. She's a very good artist and I found that quite therapeutic at the moment. So it's something that taps into your creative elements and it has a direct effect on your mental well-being and also your physical well-being as well. We know that stress is often a hidden driver of physical fatigue. And if you're doing something that's mindful, that's going to help you to calm the mind, it's one of the best things that you can do that's going to help to promote longevity. And as you know, that's what we're all about here on the Real Longevity podcast, is promoting longevity. So being mindful. So the key insight here that I really would like you to take away is there is no one system in the body. Your body is a system of systems. So we have to look to harmonize and balance that system of systems as best as possible. When your mind is chronically anxious or it's depleted, that's going to reflect in your body. When you're in this mode of overtraining and going hard or going home and no pain, no gain, if that's your mentality and you've not given your body sufficient time to recover, your mental clarity will suffer. Your cognitive functions will suffer and vitality will be hard to achieve. True vitality comes when you are both nourished daily, mentally and physically. And that's what we're talking about, active mind, active body. So we spoke about why conventional fitness doesn't work. So let me give you the 3 action steps that you can start today, not next week, not next month, or when things, air quotes, calm down. This week, you're going to do these action steps. That's going to help you get out of that and evade that exhaustion that you might be experiencing now. We're talking about today, escape the exhaustion, why exercise is making you more tired and what to do about it. So the 3 steps that you can actually do that's going to help you move through when you're feeling exhausted. So step number one, I want you to sit down, grab a pen and assess what your movement looks like right now. Ask yourself these questions. How do I feel during exercise? Am I energized or am I forcing it? How do I feel 24 hours after I've exercised? Am I recovering well or am I wiped out? And how does my body feel overall? Is it getting stronger? Is it more mobile? Or is it getting sorer, stiffer, and more nagging aches and pains? Answer those questions honestly. If the answers are mostly negative, it's not your fault. It's not weakness. That's information. You've done a quick audit. You're giving yourself some information. Your body is talking to you And it's the first step in the real rejuvenation approach. What we talk about is realizing, recognizing, and taking responsibility. And that's what you're doing with the audit. Ask yourself those questions, pause it, this podcast, write them down, answer those questions now, answer them honestly and openly. Become an expert in your own body. Stop outsourcing your health to a program that was never designed for you or to people that don't really care about you. You have to take responsibility. You have to recognize. Now, once you've done that audit, once you've taken responsibility, once you've recognized and realized where you are, I want you to make a simple change this week. If you're going to be doing high intensity exercise more than 3 times a week, drop it down to 2 and replace it with a session of a 30-minute walk or some restorative or regenerative form of exercise, or 10 minutes of stretching, or 10 minutes of doing some yoga moves or Pilates. Just that one change will give your body and your nervous system a chance to breathe, to relax, to switch off. So it's not about going hard all the time. So that's the first step that you're going to audit your movement. If you're not doing any movement, it's time to start. But if you are exercising, you're feeling tired, audit it, give yourself a chance to answer those questions honestly and see how you feel. Step number 2, I want you to start prioritizing recovery as your training. So this is the mindset shift that is going to change everything. Recovery is not laziness. I know for a lot of people, they fall into the trap of thinking they have to go all the time being that hamster wheel of exercise. Recovery is not laziness. Recovery is not skipping your workout. Recovery is the workout. Say that again. Recovery is the workout. Say it again. Recovery is the workout. This is a mindset shift that you need to adopt. It's during the recovery, during sleep, when you're down, resting, when you're relaxing, that's when your actual body is repairing itself, re-energizing, it's rebuilding, it's getting stronger. The exercise is just a stimulus, yeah? The exercise is just the form that elicits a response from your body. So recovery is where the magic happens. So you need to start repositioning that thought process in your mind in terms of exercise and recovery. Recovery is the key. Recovery is the actual workout. That's when the body is doing its stuff and repairing, rejuvenating, re-energizing. Now, you might think, well, what does that actually look like in practicality? Well, there are some simple things that you could do to be anything overly complex. Look at your bedtime. What time you get into bed? Find yourself a consistent bedtime. What is your sleep quality like? Building a rest day into your actual week, a day where you're actually going to say, you know what, I'm just chilling out today. Going out for a gentle walk, going out and doing some nice leisurely activities, reading a book, listening to music, as I mentioned, something I like to do. These are all actual real life steps that you can actually take and implement into your weekly routine that's going to help you to prioritize recovery and give your body the opportunity just to switch off, to rest and regenerate and replenish. So that's step number 2, prioritize recovery as training. It's not just the exercise that is obviously benefiting you, it's being on purpose when it comes to prioritizing your recovery. And then step number 3, move with intention, not obligation. Move with intention, not obligation. One of the biggest energy drains I see in people is exercising out of guilt or obligation. You know, I have to go to the gym. If I don't go to the gym, or they'll go to the gym just so that they can eat the pizza at the weekend. You know, they feel obligated. They're not doing it with real intention. They're not really enjoying it. They're not really getting, the fun element out of it. You heard me speak before about the importance of having fun when it comes to your fitness and your well-being journey. You know, that's not really what we want you to be in that space. It's just creating friction, creating that psychological resistance, and it creates that form of exhaustion in its own because it's something that you're finding maybe tedious or hard to get yourself motivated to do. We don't want you to be in that space. I especially don't want you to be in that space. You may have been told that's the way to go about things before, but that's not what we're talking about here today. Here's what I want you to try and think about reframing. Find movement that you actually enjoy. Find something that you actually enjoy. So what is it that you like to do? Is it going out for walks? Is it crown bowling? Is it doing something like swimming? Is it going for a dance class? Is it doing some gardening? Is it some sort of physical activity? I want you to find something that you actually enjoy, something that really sets you alight, something that you don't feel like you're pushing against. Or find a group. It might be a class, it might be going to a club. It might be actually joining the gym and doing something in a gym environment where there's other people around you. Walk with a friend. Find something that you actually enjoy. Put on your favorite podcast, like the Real Longevity podcast, and go for a walk outside in the fresh air and enjoy being out in nature. Try something new. Try something like Tai Chi or Qigong or some sort of dance class that you might enjoy. Find a movement that your body is going to really find easy to do. There's not going to be any real resistance there. It's not that we're trying to push you into some sort of punishment type exercise. That's not the key here. It's meant to be one of the greatest pleasures of the human body, being able to move your body freely without pain. And that's what we're trying to get you to discover. What is it for you? To leave me a comment, I'm going to leave my contact details. I'll find out what it is for you, and I want you to email me and let me know exactly what it is. So you're moving with intention. When it's something that you choose rather than something that you drag yourself to, the response and the mindset is completely different. Your brain realizes that actually this is something that we do. On the positive side, it'll then look to release different types of chemicals that are going to help to keep motivated, and you'll actually look forward to it. So move with intention, not obligation. So let's bring it all together, shall we? What we talked about today. We're not talking about go harder or push more. That approach to exercise is often the reason why people, typically over the age of 45, feel more tired. We looked at after 45, and we understand now it needs to be more of a smarter approach, more of a balanced approach, more of an intelligent approach when it comes to moving our bodies. We've explored what active mind, active body is, and that's the third pillar and the principle on the Real Rejuvenation Program, and what it actually means to put it into practice. So your 3 steps this week, we said we'll give you 3 practical steps that you can actually do. So you're going to do these this week, and you're going to contact me. You're going to leave my contact details, email me, and let me know exactly what you've done regarding these 3 steps. Number 1 was audit your movement honestly. Ask yourself how you feel during exercise, after exercise, and make one small adjustment on what you discover. Number 2, the second step, start treating recovery as training. Protect your sleep, build genuine rest pattern into your weekly activities. Go over things like deep breathing before bed that will help you get a nice restful night's sleep. And finally, the third step was to move with intention. Find a movement that you actually do. Is it dancing? Is it Tai Chi? Is it swimming? Find it and find that regularity in your weekly schedule, in your weekly pattern. And over time, that's going to compound. You're going to look to get the benefit from doing that over and over again. Now, these small shifts are going to be profound. These are the kind of changes that over time they're going to compound and lead to you feeling differently and looking differently and feeling more energized, more vitalized, more thrill for your daily and weekly life. The kind of things here that and when you wake up in the morning, you don't feel pressure, you don't feel, you don't have that because you found your thing, you found something that you really like to do. You're going to be up in the morning, feeling less pain and raring to go. Now, I'm trusting that you found today's episode insightful. And if it has resonated with you, I'm going to send you, offer you this invite to come and join us in the Real Longevity Podcast community over on Facebook. It's completely free. It's a warm, supportive group of men and women just like you, over the age 45, 50 and older, who are done with all those one-size-all fitness approaches, those fitness fixes that have never worked for them, and they're ready to build vitality, rejuvenate the body, live pain-free on their terms. I'm going to leave a link in the show notes so you can find us on there. Click on that link. And if you want to go deeper, I'll also offer you the invitation to transform your life and transform your body while working with me directly. Again, I'll leave all the details in the show notes where you can talk to me one-on-one about how holistic fitness, the personalized approach, the bespoke approach, working together can really get you from where you are to really reclaiming control of your fitness, looking 10 years younger, living 10 years longer than you actually are on course to do right now. Head over to the group, drop me a message, let's have a conversation. So I want to really say thank you for joining me here on the podcast. I'll leave all my connection details where you can connect with me on LinkedIn, on Instagram. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find us there where we've got extra content that's going to help you find real rejuvenation. All right, until the next one, remember, be well, be wise, be cool, be calm, and keep it real. Blessings and chi, it is done.